Welcome back to another episode of Legacy Battle. I'm Michael Adams, my panelists tonight from the Good Round Battle Zone, Brian King and Dion Reed, Steelers Nation South, Rollo Coughlin. We have a debate for you tonight, the greatest high school basketball player of all time. We are joined by a 32-year basketball coach and counting, I might add. 14 years at Sioux City East High, where he won 314 games, made it to 4 state tournament appearances. He has coached with Team USA Juniors, and he's currently coaching with Team USA Men's 3-on-3, which is a fascinating sport. If you haven't seen that, check it out. So we want to welcome Coach Roz Vanderloo. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, hey, I appreciate it. Anytime you can sit around and talk about basketball, I'm in. So it's no, this is great. I'm fired up to do it.
Excellent. As always, we're gonna have a Q&A after. We'll talk to Coach about his career. Our honorable mentions tonight. We got two players that just kind of missed our picks tonight, and that was Oscar Robertson and Wilt Chamberlain. We'll start with Rollo's player. Who you got, Rollo?
I got Kobe Bean Bryant, rest in peace. Born August 23rd, 1978 in Philadelphia. His father, Joe Jelly Bean Bryant, was an 8-year NBA veteran. Kobe started playing basketball at the age of 3 and moved to Italy with his father, playing overseas. It was it was where he would learn Italian and speak it fluently. He would develop his love for basketball as he was the ball boy for his father's Italian squad. And his grandfather would actually send him games from the NBA so that he could study them, which is why he actually fell in love with Michael Jordan. His family would move back to the U.S. when Kobe was in 8th grade. In high school, he would start immediately on the varsity squad. His first varsity game, he scored 18 points, and he would go on to average 17 points per game as a freshman. But the team wasn't very good. They went 4-20. But they would go 77-13 over his next 3 years, including the first state basketball title that they had in 53 years. As a junior, he averaged 31 points per game, 10.4 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks, and almost 2.5 steals per game. He was also named the PA Basketball Player of the Year that year. As a senior, leading his team to that aforementioned PA state title, he averaged 30.8 points per game, 12 boards, 6.5 assists, 4 steals, and 4 blocks, showing dominance on both ends of the floor. He was also at the renowned Adidas ABCD camp. He was named the MVP, further showing his spotlight in the national recognition. In his career, he was a Naismith High School Basketball Player of the Year, Gatorade High School Player of the Year, McDonald's All-American, First Team Parade All-American, and USA Today First Team. He also surpassed Wilt Chamberlain as the Southeast PA's all-time leading scorer with 2,883 points. Not to mention, he took, at the time, R&B star and TV star Brandy to her prom. He would pass over colleges like from Duke, Michigan, North Carolina, and Villanova to go straight to the pros at 17, becoming only, at the time, the 6th player to do it. And in 2012, he was named one of the 35 greatest McDonald's All-Americans of all time. Rest in peace,
Coach,
Kobe.
yeah, rest in peace. Coach, he's one of our players tonight that skipped college. What do you think of a young Kobe? Where was his game at? Would college have helped him, in your opinion?
Well, I think absolutely. I mean, he was so advanced at a younger age. I mean, obviously, what he did throughout his NBA career and even early with his NBA career. I mean, he didn't go from those first 2 years of just being a Jordanist kind of a killer. He became that, but his skill level was off the chart. I mean, college, he would have dominated in college. You just wonder a superstar player like that trying to play in the system, whether it had been at Duke or Michigan or Carolina or whatever, wherever he would have ended up. Probably would have been a one and done guy. But I just think that maturity level, he was 17 when he came out. Obviously, he's soon to be 18. I just think the mental capacity, the physical capacity was there. Heck, he was drafted and did well. But the mental capacity of a 17-year-old into a man's game. I mean, you're traveling all over the country, game to game, and you can't even get into bars, or clubs or. Now, I'm not saying he never did, but legally, I mean, you want to hang out with your teammates. Well, I mean, I'm sure there was a few exceptions along the way, but you know what I'm saying? Here's a young kid playing with adult men. I just think the mental part of it probably would have helped him more than the physical going to college.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was clutch We'll give him that. So, but Brian, who you got?
All right, I got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, known in his high school days as Lou Alcindor, 7'2" center for Power Memorial in New York City. Kareem was completely dominant, even as a 10th grader. In 1963, he became the first sophomore ever to be named to the Parade High School All-American first team. In both his junior and senior years, he made the team again, becoming the first player to earn those honors 3 times. To this day, the only one other player has accomplished this feat. And on top of that, he was named the National Player of the Year twice. Kareem earned the nickname the Tower from Power, and he led his team to true greatness. 3 consecutive New York City Catholic championships and the National High School Boys Championship in 1963 and 1964. 1965, his team was the runner-up, so they got there again. While Kareem was there, they had a staggering 95-6 record, including a 71 game winning streak. Over his entire high school career, Kareem averaged 20.5 points per game. He set the New York high school record with 2,067 career points. He also averaged over 20 points per game in 4 consecutive seasons. And he brought down 2,002 total rebounds. So his senior season, absolutely sensational. 31.6 points per game, which certainly must have gotten Coach John Wooden's attention at some point, since Kareem ended up playing at the great powerhouse UCLA. Kareem, or rather Lou Alcindor, was a dominant force who went on to dominate at every other subsequent level of basketball he ever played at. Truly a legend.
Coach, something special about doing it in New York. I mean, it's if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. What are your thoughts on a young Kareem?
Well, I think when you're able to dominate New York City, I mean, I don't want to say other parts of the country don't play real ball because they do, but New York City, especially back in those days, that was real basketball. Talent level was high. You're playing against dudes every night. You're not off in some small town in Iowa, no disrespect, but you're playing against great players probably every night, or very talented players, and you're dominating like he did at every level. I mean, high school, college, and pros. Kareem is a guy that doesn't get enough credit nowadays for what he accomplished throughout his whole career. He wasn't really a highlight reel. He was a skyhook guy. He was a rebounder. But look at his teams. He won in high school. He won in college. He won in the NBA. I mean, he's one of the most dominant players of all time that doesn't get enough credit.
Let me ask you, because you've coached a lot of players who've gone on to college, of course. What the transition going from New York all the way to California? I mean, that's something different. So, what's a player going through when they make that jump?
But I think early on, it's a huge adjustment. I mean, you're going from a northern city, a huge city. LA is a huge city too, but you don't have the weather issues. You're thousands of miles from home. You really don't know anybody when you get there. It's totally a new deal. So mentally, I always go back to that mental stuff. It's got to affect him a little bit. And then at that time, freshmen weren't eligible, so you're not able to step in and dominate. So I mean, you're going out there, you're playing on a freshman team, you're practicing, doing all that, but the adjustment had to be enormous in order to progress like he did, through his college days and then obviously into the NBA. But I got to believe that adjustment was huge for him.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to Dion. Dion, who are you bringing us?
Yeah, so the guy who I'm representing right now is it's a unknown name amongst most people. Some guy named LeBron James. He only is first in NBA history in scoring, fourth in assists. 4-time MVP. But we're not talking about that tonight. We're just talking about high school basketball here. So let's just look at some of the things that he did. Starting off with his freshman year, he went to St. Vincent, St. Mary, in Akron, Ohio, all 4 years. His freshman year, 21 points per game, 6 rebounds, led the school to an undefeated 27-0, and they were the only team in the state of Ohio to do that. His sophomore year, he went up to 25.2 points per game, 7.2 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3.8 steals per game. His junior year, 29 points per game, 8.3 rebounds, 5.7 assists, 3.3 steals. In his senior year, 31.6 points per game, 9.6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 3.5 steals. As you can see, he lights up the stat line. He's been doing it in the pros and he started off in the high schools. But he ended up ending his career with over 2,600 points, 900 rebounds, 500 assists, and he was the first junior to win USA Today's All American First Team honors and Player of the Year. And he ended up winning that feat twice, like BK's Kareem. But just some of the things that he was doing in high school. It's not just about the maturity of his game. He wasn't playing, as the basketball started to grow. He wasn't playing with all stars. Okay, his teammates were neighborhood kids. One kid ended up going to Ohio State to play football, and another kid, I believe, Drew went to Cleveland State, I believe, and he wasn't playing with all stars, guys that was just going to the NBA, like the competition he was doing. And one of my favorite lines in one of the documentaries about him in his senior year is that other kids were going in the school buses to play their games. This guy was flying across the country to Westchester in California, to Texas to play Lincoln, went down to Virginia and Oak Hill Academy to play guys like Carmelo Anthony. He's played Marcus Williams, Trevor Ariza, Dwight Howard, Chris Bosh. He's played all these guys in high school, again, with neighborhood kids. Um, for me, there's no question who the best high school all basketball player of all time is. And again, not just what he's done on the court, and even just the sponsors and stuff that he's able to do off the court as well.
Coach, I've never seen such a hype train before, like we saw with LeBron in high school. The man was playing on ESPN in high school. What kind of pressure was he going through? How did he handle it?
Well, I think enormous pressure. I mean, it was just mentioned there. He wasn't playing with future NBA guys. He was playing with, like I said, Akron, Ohio native kids. There was a football player in there, and I think another one did go to Cleveland State. I think that's correct. And look what he was able to do. I mean, his physical ability is probably unmatched ever. If there's somebody else like him, it probably won't be in my lifetime. I mean, his size and strength and athleticism is off the chart. I mean, like I said, going right from high school to the NBA. He's proven it year in and year out. He is one of the top players all time worldwide. I mean, we can debate this till 4 in the morning, who's 1, 2, or 3, but he's obviously in there. And I don't care how smart or dumb you are, he better be in there. But he's almost changed the game from high school to where he is now. I mean, 23 years into the NBA. Like I said, high school, he really changed how teams play. They're flying all over the country. The states that allow them to do that. Some states don't allow you to do that anymore. But I mean, the competition level, their school reached out, found the Carmelo Anthony's of the world and people like that, Oak Hill and down in Texas, California, to try to find that competition, and he still produced. So it wasn't like they were flying all over getting beat. They were flying all over and winning. With him being obviously the star of the team and a bunch of neighborhood kids. So I will always give it up for LeBron. Like I said, his physique, his athleticism, off the chart. He changed the game.
Absolutely. All right, let's move on to our final player tonight. I got him. I I'm gonna call him the wild card tonight. So maybe on paper, people are gonna think he's not the best, but I truly believe he's got a shot at this. So he's known as the magician. In high school, he was a walking triple double. I got Jason Kidd from St. Joseph Notre Dame in Alameda, California. Another hard place to play basketball in high school. He won back-to-back state titles in 91 and 92. Kidd is the all-time assist leader in California high school history and fifth nationwide. Um, and he is the nation's all-time leader in high school in steals. So pretty impressive stat there. Kid always known in the NBA for his high court IQ and basketball knowledge. He had this even as a teenager. He was making plays back then that I don't know if you all saw the Pistol Pete movie way back in the day, but you're like, how do you make that pass? So um, California's he won California's High School Player of the Year 2 times, and of course the Naismith High School Player of the Year as the best player in the country. USA Today has him ranked second all time, behind Kareem. So that's always opinionated. So, but number two all time. His senior year, check out this stat line. Senior year averages 25 points, 10 assists, 7 boards, and 7 steals. Maybe one of the greatest stat lines in single high school season. That's fantastic. Of course, he's a McDonald's All American, two-time parade first team All American, and USA Today Player of the Year. So he has every accolade in high school that you could possibly want. And he's the only guy on our list tonight who wasn't well, maybe we could throw LeBron into this a little bit, but wasn't just like a pure scorer. He was a guy that went out there and made all the players on the court better with the style that he played, and his defense. The steals show you how phenomenal he was. That means he's playing both sides of the court, which is something I always want to look at. Like, are they putting in the effort? Because defense takes effort. Offense not so much. So I love Jason Kidd. I think he deserves a shot here today. Coach, what are your thoughts on Jason?
Well, you mentioned it right away. He's a guy that doesn't get enough credit ever. I mean, what he did in high school. I mean, think of all the players just in California. He comes the California Player of the Year. I mean, he's a physically imposing guard, 6'4". I mean, he's got a good body on him. Does what he wins championships in high school. Ends up going to Cal, not a basketball powerhouse at the time. They had a good team, and they went on and they beat Duke in the tournament. That's a game I think a lot of people remember. But Jason Kidd is a name, obviously an NBA Hall of Famer. Where you don't make it to the NBA Hall of Fame just being okay. I mean, you got to be great of the great. I do believe he could have been a better scorer, depending on the teams he was on. I think he had the ability to score, but he was more, like I said, assists and steals. Scoring was down probably a little bit than the all-time greats, but I think he could have scored if he had to. But he played on teams when he didn't have to. He's won an NBA championship. He's won a high school championship. Those things just don't happen. I mean, and like I said, he is definitely a name that doesn't get enough credit. I've said that about several of these guys tonight, but I truly believe, and I think you're right. He is somebody, when you actually look at the numbers and look what he's done, he belongs in the grade of the greats. I know that.
Excellent, guys. Let's move into our vote. Can't pick your own. Brian, who you taking?
Man, this is so tough. I think I got to fall back. I just got to go on LeBron. That's who I was going in this. I thought I was going to go with him, and I didn't really hear enough argument to sway me from that. So got to go LeBron.
Rollo?
This should have been the greatest high school player not named LeBron James. The dude was on the cover of Sports Illustrated as a junior. Think about the weight that's put on that kid. So obviously it's going to be LeBron.
Dion, you're the only guy here tonight who can't vote LeBron. Who are you taking?
I literally was just I was doing my pecking order, like who I was going against, and originally I was going Kareem, and then Rollo sold me on the most iconic high school jersey and Kobe Bean. But literally, I'm like, all right, Kobe. Literally, your case, that senior year for Jason Kidd is just ridiculous. And then I forgot the fact that he was a Cali guy, so I'm gonna go Jason Kidd.
Thank you. And yeah, if he's got the best jersey, why not, right? So, but so for me, yeah, it's hard to not vote for LeBron. I think Kareem's stats might actually be a little better, but nobody had the pressure that LeBron had, and to overcome that it started before he was 18, and you were talking 17, 16 years old. This guy was already playing in front of, you could say millions when you add in the TV. I mean, that's incredible to stand up to that kind of pressure. So I'll give my vote to LeBron. Coach, who would you take?
Well, first of all, there's no wrong choice out of any of these guys, obviously, but you got to be a stand-up guy and pick who you would take. I don't want to be a jumping on with the crowd guy, so I'm going to go with Kobe. I mean, like I said, none of these choices are wrong, but Kobe was a guy like LeBron that jumped right into the league. 17 years old, coming out of Philly, was able to skip the college part, get into the league. I just think his mentality. He's a Jordan type player. I mean, he's a killer. I can't use that word. I know that, but he's an assassin. I mean, I don't think teams that he played on, he willed them to win. at any level. Like I said, he's a winner. They're all winners. But I just think his mental toughness. That'd be the reason I'm taking him. I'm going with Kobe.
Okay, so three votes for LBJ, two for Kobe. So win for Dion tonight. Let's move into our Q&A. We'll go Dion, Rollo, Brian, me.
Great. Um, Tonight we literally just witnessed an all-star game featuring both USA stars and the world. Obviously, the world is like catching up, if not, head to head with the USA in basketball. Coach, what is the biggest difference you see in both USA players and foreign players from both an individual standpoint and from team standpoint?
No, that's a great question. I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world basketball wise. I've been all over the world and worked with teams and individuals. The European system of youth basketball they don't have quote high school, they got club, but through that age is and like I said, I'm talking about our own country here, but it's better over there. They basically operate on a 6-to-1 ratio. And a lot of people have heard this before. They practice 6 times, play 1 game. In the US, we're playing 6+ games and practicing once. In the US, we're dealing with talented players, extremely athletic players. In Europe, they're teaching kids how to play. So those Europeans that are coming over, okay, their fundamentals are better. Their team play is better. Now, I think the athleticism in the U.S. is better, but you can't survive just on athleticism. You got to know how to play. And I think that's where we're losing ground. And if you look at the world stage, like I said, for instance, in the Olympics, okay, we used to dominate. I mean, think of the Dream Team, the Redeem Team, all those kind of things. We dominated. Now you look at, we're still winning and we're still at the top, but there are teams that are creeping up close to us. And I think we got to change what we do in the lower levels in order to continue the dominance. So until we get on board with that, I can see that gap getting real close. I know that.
Coach, you come from a basketball family.
Mhm.
Your brother is a Hall of Famer in Iowa. You took over the program at Sioux City from him.
Yep.
He has 295 wins. I believe you have 225. What was it like taking over from your brother?
264. Wait a minute. 264.
All right, so 264. You're creeping up on him. What was it like taking over the program from him? And is there a little bit of sibling rivalry that comes as you get closer to his record?
Well, absolutely there is, and our hope, and to add on to that, our father was the coach before my brother. So since 1974, there's my dad, my brother, and me. And so it's a long time, but definitely a rivalry. And just to also put another fact out there, I have more career wins. He has more wins at this school. So I always jab him about that too. But no, I will be totally honest. I think my brother is one of the top high school coaches in the country. He's a tactician. He's now since been hired by Creighton University. He's an assistant at Creighton in Omaha, Nebraska. They've been in the NCAA tournament, I think 9 out of 10 years or whatever it's been. So he's been down there. But definitely there's a rivalry. It's great to have somebody with his knowledge content to bounce things off every day. Whatever it might be, an individual player or a team or a set play or situation. It's incredible when you can just pick up that phone and instantly bounce something off somebody at a real high level. So it's been great. The school where we've all been at, basketball is a priority. It's important to the kids, the fans, the community, the school administration. Don't ever forget that. If you're at a school where the school administration doesn't support the program, get out of there because you're not going to make it. When everybody's on board, things happen. Basketball is important out here. We're not in a state that has a pro sports. So our games are 2,500, 2,800 people a night. They're all televised. We have newspaper and radio and print and press conferences. It's a different deal than most people are used to, but it's incredible. We have great buy-in, like I said, from the community and the kids. The kids want to be a part of it. They work hard. Now we're not perfect by any means, and we stumble once in a while. But we've had a great run because everybody buys in.
So, Coach, you've worked with the USA basketball as an assistant coach for the 3-on-3 team. So,
Mhm.
folks not familiar with a 3-on-3 basketball, it's a half court setup. Obviously, in
Yep.
traditional hoops, you got a center and the two forwards and the two guards. But how is it composed, like for 3-on-3? Like, what is the strategy for choosing the players? What attributes are you looking for?
Well, you can't go traditional point guard, postman, and wing. You need athletic guys, and you basically have to have a minimum of one great shooter, if not two. The game is scored in ones and twos, so a 3-pointer in traditional basketball is worth two in 3x3 and one, two for one. It's a nonstop game. It's a 10-minute game, and you don't take the ball and take it out and throw it in. It's played out of the net. So on a made basket, you're getting it out of the net and you're playing. So it's quick. There's a lot of movement. But like I said, I believe the stat, Jimmer Fredette, famous college player of the year. He is our lead. I mean, he is our executive director of USA Basketball 3x3. He was a great 3x3 player, played in the Olympics. And he gives us all these stats all the time. 84% of the teams that make 4 3-pointers are worth 2 in a game. 84% of the times you make 4, you win the game. So
Oh,
you
wow.
can't be all threes, but you got to be able to hit that 3 because it's such a short game. Then athletic guys. I mean, I would say a picture perfect player, 6'7", long arm, athletic, and can shoot threes. That'd be like if you could carve somebody out of the stone, that'd be the player. Like I said, you got to be able to get stops on defense, and you got to be in condition. You can only play with 4 players, 1 on the bench, 3 in the game. So it's not like you got a bench of 5 guys. You got
Right.
1. And like I said, and you're subbing a lot just to keep everybody fresh. So conditioning is huge. Being able to shoot the 3 is huge. Not fouling is huge because once you get to that 7th foul, you're shooting 2. So it doesn't always get to the 7th foul, but when you do, and on the 10th foul, you shoot 2 and get the ball back. It's almost like a technical.
Oh,
So
wow.
not fouling is important. So you got to be in shape, be able to shoot, defend, rebound, do everything, and try not fouling because that fouling is a huge. If you can get somebody in foul trouble, your chances of winning are very, very good. Popularity, it's blowing up worldwide, but especially in the U.S. We are probably a little behind the rest of the world in 3x3, but we're catching up rather quickly. Our women have done great in the Olympics. Our men in the last year and a half in the world stage have done very well. Anticipate that another season coming up here in about a month will start up. We don't have a lot of events in the U.S. They're mostly in Europe, Asia, mostly in Europe for the most part. But they will get over to Hong Kong and into China and things. But that's where the events are played, and our teams have gotten better and better. And last year had a great year. So I anticipate another step this year as we lead into the Olympics in 28.
So, Coach, we talked about 2 players tonight who had the opportunity to go from high school to the NBA, something players do not have the opportunity to do today. Uh, we've got 18-year-olds that can go to war for the country. So, what are your thoughts on the whole thing? If the player is good enough, should they be able to skip that 1-year mandatory college and just go right to the NBA?
My answer is yes. But part of it is the way they're throwing around that NIL anymore in college. They can get to the right spot in college and get a big paycheck and
Sure.
and be the man. I mean, I don't care where you go, Duke, Carolina, Michigan, UCLA, Texas. I don't care what school it is. If you're a dude, I mean, if you're a premier player, you're getting a big check, and you're going to get to play a lot, and you're going to be the primary focus of the team. You go to the NBA, you're getting a big check. I know that, but you're probably going to be buried on that bench, and you're not going to get that first year, especially. You'll play a little bit, but I can't imagine a high school kid coming onto a good team. I don't care. Let's just say Denver Nuggets. They got a very good team. I mean, there's a lot of teams, and getting a ton of minutes. Okay, especially if you're a big guy, you think you're going to get thrown in there ahead of Jokic? I don't see that happening. But if you would go to college, all of a sudden, let's just throw out Duke for a random name. You're going to be the primary focus of their offense. You're going to get better because you're going to play a ton of minutes. Okay, probably have a lot of success and still get the big check. So I think sometimes guys really look forward to jump into the NBA if they could. Now they can't anyway, but they could because of all the money, everything's about money. Well, the money's now in college. Obviously the NBA second contract is an enormous contract, but so it's no longer a money deal. But I just think physically and mentally that extra year is only going to help you because you're going to be the primary person on whatever team you go to. So it's not like you're going to be a sub. If you think you're an NBA player, you're not going to be a college sub. I mean, I don't think so. So I think you're going to get a ton of minutes, ton of exposure, ton of pressure, ton of money, and probably get a lot better. So
Go ahead, Dion.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually asked that question. That led to my next question. The NCAA is under a lot of scrutiny right now, with letting former NBA players come back and play college basketball, and also I don't know the exact rule with as far as the draft for foreign players. Do you think there's a simple way to, I guess, adjust or make a certain rule or guidelines as far as the NBA draft and people coming back to the college basketball?
yes, first of all, we need to revamp the NCAA rules. We went from a million rules to now basically no rules. And I'm not saying I have all the answers. I don't. But if you're a college player in the United States, you attend a college, an NCAA school, and then you voluntarily sign off, I'm going to go into the NBA draft. Okay. You need to think twice about all this. I'm saying once you sign off on that, I'm going to the NBA. Okay. Then you should be done with college. Okay. Maybe the NBA doesn't work. Hey, I wasn't good enough, or I got hurt, or whatever the reason is. I think your time of coming back, you voluntarily signed off. I think the big argument is the European guys, they're playing pro in Europe. Okay. Then they're coming over after a year or two. The problem is there really isn't a college system in Europe. You go from club, high school, I mean, we call it high school, they call it club. And then you go right into, depending on how good you are, you go right into their pro system. So they haven't been to college. So that's the only thing I can say. Well, they haven't been to college, so let's let them go to college. But once they sign off here to stay in the draft or whatever, they end up in the G League or wherever they end up. Oh, I don't like that. I want to go back. Well, you signed off on it. You agreed to say my eligibility is now over. But we got judges and we got the judicial system saying, "Oh, give them a chance." I mean, there's the Baylor situation, the Alabama. There's several of them out there. And then the one judge just went back on the Alabama kid. Now he can't play. He played a few games. Now he can't play. But that's the biggest difference is the European kids aren't playing college basketball because they go right from club to the pros. So and just so everybody knows, the pro system in Europe is so different. There's so many levels of pro. Me and you and my dog might be pros in Europe on about the fifth league down. When they hear pros, no disrespect to you, I'm sure you're a great player, but when you're in this league, I mean, it's like glorified intramurals. People hear pro and they think NBA. Well, no, the Euro League, outstanding. I mean, there are NBA style players all over the Euro League. I mean, they're great players. But 3 or 4 or 5 levels down, those guys are still pros because they're getting paid, but they're not NBA players. I just think in American college, when you sign off to stay in the draft or you're signed by an NBA team, you've given up that right to play college basketball.
Yeah. Rollo, you got one more?
Coach, so you are a speaker for the National High School Coaches Association.
Mm-hmm.
What goes into that, and how do you prepare for speaking to rooms, hundreds and thousands of your own peers? How do you go preparing for that?
That is a good question. Obviously, there are different topics all the time. Some want to talk about basketball strategy. Some want to talk about development. Some want to talk about our total system, youth to the pros. So there's a little bit of difference in all of it. I'm not any smarter than anybody else. But I've seen a lot. I've seen other countries' stuff. I've been a part of USA Basketball. I've been a part of our high school system. My brother's a college coach, so I got a lot of angles to go at things. I really think sometimes they ask me because I have a personality that's not boring. I don't know, but no, a lot of things go into it. I mean, I've got notes, all kinds of notes on things, and whatever topic they want. I always say, don't let me pick the topic. You pick the topic, and I'll talk to it. But I'm always honored to do it. I'm excited to do it. I love talking to groups and to people and talking about basketball. I think it's great. I think it should be talked about more. Nobody's system is perfect. Everybody needs to get better. Coaches, players, parents, fans, you name it. Everybody needs to get better every day. So yeah, I enjoy it. It's work, but it's like I said, that's something I like to do, and I get asked to do a lot of things like that, and I normally do them. So it's like I said, and I've gotten easy questions, hard questions. I've gotten everything. So it is what it is. But like I said, let's put everything on the table and figure it out.
So, Coach, back in 2024, you received the John Wooden Award, which is, of course, named after the legendary UCLA head coach. The NHSBCA states that the recipient embodies the characteristics that best exemplify the late Wooden, including education, longevity, character, and excellence. So, what did it mean to you to win this honor?
I think it meant a lot. Number one, like I said, I don't believe I'm any better than anybody else. I mean, I got a lot of flaws. I think I work hard at what I do. I think I try to prioritize basketball in a kid's life. Basketball is just a piece of a young man or young woman's life. Sometimes we make it bigger than that. It's not bigger than that. Hopefully through sports, through basketball, we make better people. We teach people how to compete. Absolutely be mad when you get beat. I mean, that's life. Okay, but what are we going to do to change it? How can we get better? Let's learn from our mistakes. Keep doing what we do good. Promote the game. I probably one thing that I think I do a decent job of is promoting the game nationwide, worldwide. I'm very fortunate to go all over. I was in South America this summer. I was in Europe the last several summers. I've been to China and everywhere in between. But I just think get out and talk it up. So there's so much negativity out there about everything, about our country, our world. Let's make sports a priority. Okay, let's talk it up. It's an incredible deal. Okay, let's use the positive part of it. Getting kids basically off the couch, off the cell phones, and all the stupid games they play. Let's get them into sports. Let's teach them things. Their kids' lives for the most part don't suck. Okay. Mentally, we believe that. No, let's get out and get going. I don't care what sport you play. Baseball, football, basketball, wrestling, track, I don't care. Play something and make it a lifetime lesson. Get better. Be a better person because of sports. So hopefully that's a good answer.
Absolutely.
So, excuse me. Well, we'll get you out of here with this. So, a few years back, you started doing the U.S. Juniors mini camps as a court coach there. The talent coming through there, I'm sure, is outstanding. But was there a player maybe who went on eventually? I know it's only been a few years, but went to the NBA, and you guys really helped refine their game and reach a level that maybe they didn't have coming in there?
You know what? First of all, everybody that gets invited to these camps, these mini camps and things, unbelievably talented. I mean, I can't even express how talented they are. Many, I don't know the percentage, I'm going to say a lot. 80-90% of them end up in pro basketball. Some of them become superstars. I'm just thinking just a few years back, like the Chet Holmgrens of the world. He's just a tall, skinny kid, but you knew that guy has something. I mean, now he's a world champion with obviously OKC. Paulo Banchero of Magic, incredible player. Incredible player. Long-armed, athletic. Just you watch these guys and you go, that guy's got it. He's got it. Scotty Barnes, Toronto. Another guy, you just, like I said, after about the first 10 minutes of watching him that first day of doing drills, you're like, that guy's got it. There's always, everyone there is good. Everybody's good. But then there's always a few of them that kind of stick out, like, that guy's going to make it. He's really good. And I will say one thing about the USA basketball system: they do an incredible job of picking out talent. They do an incredible job of not dealing with bad character or bad people. Um, these kids they're hardworking, they're talented, they're great character kids because the USA basketball system isn't going to deal with clowns. So not only do you got to be incredibly talented, you need to be a good person, and the people doing the picking and choosing do a great job of that. And the competitiveness of the practice, or oh my gosh, I mean, it's hard to even explain. When you've got future pros, whether you're doing a drill or a 5-on-5 or 3-on-3, whatever you're doing, when you got future pros going against each other, you can imagine the level of play is off the chart. But no, the USA basketball system is great. It's run right. It has good people behind it. Don Showalter, I always got to throw his name out there. He's kind of the father of that age of USA basketball. I believe he was 62-0 all time. Never lost a game coaching for USA. Just an outstanding person. Like I said, all the people behind the USA system are incredible, and that's the reason it works. And it's they do a great job of promoting basketball. I try to speak it out whenever I can. It's a great game. Like I said, I think it shapes kids into who they are later in life. We probably need to get more people involved in that. But like I said, anytime you can promote it and speak out about all the great things we got going, which we do, I'm yelling from the top of the mountain.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Coach. Great stuff. Thank you for sharing with us.
No, I appreciate it. Like I said, I love doing stuff like this. It just gives me 1 minute to try to promote it and the things that are going on in our country. And I think the debates of the players were incredible. But there still is only one greatest player of all time, Michael Jordan. So
Absolutely.
No
I'll
argument
never
here.
argue with that one. Yeah, yeah. I'll remind everybody, hit that like, subscribe, notification button. We'll see everybody next time. Have a great night.